Hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you're seeing this from. I'm Sanup Balakrishnan. I am the Global Head of Digital Media and MarTech for DHL Express globally, based in Germany. I'm here to talk to you about my experience with MarTech and specifically what we've done in DHL Express globally related to MarTech. Let me start by giving you a bit of a context as to what have we recently done in terms of MarTech and what was the decision made. So what we did recently, or let's say globally, is we decided to focus on an audience-led approach in marketing. It is not a new term, everybody does know that. But why we did it is because we have a massive first-party data, about millions across the globe. We are pretty much in 139 countries or even more. Therefore, our first-party data is huge, right? So we did a bit of a reshuffling in terms of how we will do the marketing in DHL Express. And because our business objective is to win business or new leads from marketing, which is 100% performance, as you would imagine already. Also cross-sell and upsell, right? So what better place than digging into your own customers first? So that's why we decided to kind of go a full-fledged audience-led approach in marketing. And how do we do that? That's also important to mention, right? So what we did was we, in 2021, we onboarded a marketing automation tool called Marketo Engage, which is currently with Adobe now. And that was a global deployment in 139 countries. So we took around 3 years to finish the deployment in 139 countries. But what was important here is to have an approach that helps us to do the global deployment, but at the same time being able to improve the skills of the local team. So what we did is a bit of like a hybrid approach. Where we did all the integration with related to a CRM and which is a legacy CRM that we have, even to Marketo. And we managed all the database migration, the workspace management, everything centrally, so that when we went to local, we trained them, we took them through the process, we made them understand what the local data management processes are, and made them responsible for managing it locally. And all these things was a journey of 6 weeks with one country. So we did not rush on anything. And that's why the whole deployment took around 3 years to finish with 139 countries. But what was important here is that we get the basics of how to use Marketo and therefore how to use the first party data in Marketo for our marketing purposes. And this is something that we actually focused on in the last 3 years. And I'm quite proud to say that we have seen a significant improvements in terms of our revenue after using this platform, not necessarily because of the platform, but it's more important about the approach that we used and how we converted the approach and the opportunity into a potential revenue, and that we can see in our bottom line at the moment. The key learning that we've had from this is definitely one size fits all does not work with such a large scale deployment in 139 countries, as I mentioned before. Therefore, we needed to have an approach that helps us to manage the big chunk or the heavy lifting of this work centrally, but also have some sort of like a global approach. So we plan, we migrate and train globally, but implement locally. So the reason I said globally is because even during the migration phase, it's not just a simple database migration from our CRM into Marketo, but we also took the local team into account and made them aware of the local data management processes and made them responsible for that, because there are countries like Korea, China, where the regulations are very difficult to manage centrally. So we made them locally responsible for it. And therefore, we'd had to have this hybrid approach. Last but not the least, what was important is to create a community of Marketo champions within DHL. And I'm proud to say that we have more than 20 champions today, split into 6 regions. and they are the cornerstones of Marketo and driving the Marketo community, but also upskilling the users, improving the basics of the users, local country users, and also making sure that we have a good governance and a maintenance system or an escalation system, because I think what it comes after the deployment is how do you continue the success of the deployment, and I think that is more critical to make sure that the whole value is brought into the whole system, not just during the deployment, but after the deployment and how you continue with the deployment. So all in all, I think we are in a very good state of driving a good audience-led approach. I'm not saying we are the best, but I think we have definitely hit the first stone correct, and I'm sure the journey is going to be even more successful in the future. That's about it. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn or any networking site, and I'll be happy to take any questions. But thank you so much for the opportunity.